I welcome you all on the USMLE session on Pathway for PG in Medicine. We are going to discuss a global license exam for multiple countries. We are going to compare, them, and then realize also the fact that why more and more Indian students are inclined towards the USMLE, and in which way is Moksh as a coaching provider or a mentor can help you achieve your career dreams. All right, we'll discuss the entire career plan of yours as we proceed ahead in the discussion. All right, so before I begin the session, a very quick update which I require from your end is if you guys can let me know which is your year of med school, because depending on the year of med school we can actually assess and identify and let you know your plans ahead. All right, so out of 100 students so far 60 have replied. I'm still waiting for confirmation from others. So as you can see, we have a mixed batch of students attending the session. So we have people right from first, second year, third year, and interns and graduate. In fact, today we have a majority of interns and graduate being part of the session. No problem. So accordingly, the timelines and things which are relevant to you, I shall be discussing. Right. So now, who are we? Moksh as a company, we are a team of professionals who have been working with students globally. So we have faculties who have 40 plus years of experience. We have young Turks who just entered into American healthcare market. We have ex-MPH graduate from John Hopkins University. We have people who have started the first coaching of USMLE in US back in 1970s. So as you can see, it's a mixed batch of the experience, the golden experience, and people who have actually experienced the journey. So IMGs just like you who gave their USMLEs, cleared them, have settled in the American job market. So that is the team of professionals we have. Our faculties teach from US, from Canada, from UK, from Caribbean islands, and also the students learning on our platform are students who are studying in India, Germany, UK, Russia, China, Philippines, and Georgia. So we have almost students from multiple continents. Recently, we have seen a lot of students from Africa also part of our program. So yes, in next, I am going to give you insights on the American healthcare system, and also we will be discussing about globally what is the scenario of license exam, right? And at any point of time, any questions, feel free to bug it. Great. So let's understand the global scenario of license examinations. All right. In India, the license exam have come for the first time. The next exam, which will be launched in 2022, is the first exam which has been introduced in India. All right. Globally, the exams were always there. For example, nobody can practice in USA without appearing the USMLE examination. In the UK, they had to appear the PLAB exam. In Canada, it's called as the MECI, or Medical Council of Canada Evaluation Examination, right? Then you have Australian Medical Council exam called as AMC. For New Zealand, you have the New Zealand Registration Examination. For Germany, there are series of two examinations, Fachschaftsprüfung and Kenntnisprüfung, so FSP and KSP. And of course, in Gulf countries, depending on the Emirat you are going to apply for, you have MOH, DHA for Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Had, and MOH is for the Saudi and other countries. All right. So multiple exams depending on the Emirat. All right. Great. So if we were to understand and assess the difficulty level of these exams, USMLE is a difficult exam, right? UK is medium. Some people say easy. I can give that credit also to them, because unfortunately there are a lot of people who are into business of training students for PLAB, and only thing they try to project is very positive picture, which is not the reality. If anybody wants to know reality, we should attend this session, and also after the session I will flash a number where you can actually WhatsApp me, and you will find the links of reality of things which are happening in UK. All right. Of course, Canada, the Mackey exam is again medium difficulty level. Australia, AMC is medium difficulty level. Medium. German exams are easy. Only criteria is your proficiency in German language. So that's the only biggest challenge. How well you can master the German language. All right. These are easy examinations. Let's talk about the quota system. There is no quota system here. Yes, there are quotas. Of course, in fact, the Britishers have taught India, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, everybody this word called as quota, right? In Germany, no quota. In Gulf countries, no quota. If we are talking about the PG seats, now again, I am talking about clinical seats. I am talking about the seats which are to do PG and work as a clinical practitioner. Unfortunately, in UK, there are a lot of programs which are research based. They are not clinical, but students in India are not aware. They apply and then they waste so many years of their career. So yes, I am only talking about clinical positions. So approximate numbers: 34,000 in US, 15,000 UK, 30,000 India, 2,000 around in Canada, 5,000 around in Australia. New Zealand is about a very small country, 500. Germany is around 5,000, and Gulf countries is around 500 each. Visa issues, in US at a work visa level, there is no issue whatsoever because there is a huge physician shortage. I will show you. In UK, although NHS has a huge requirement, there are high level of visa issues. That also I shall show you. India, of course, it's not applicable. No issues, but only after doing a PG from India or US. No issues to settle at a consultant level. No issues whatsoever. All right. Chances to settle, very important point, because as a physician, this is a very obvious question which I will have in mind. Yes, but after doing a PG from USA, let's say if I do a PG from India, can I settle there? No. So they have a specific requirement and expectation that your PG has to be from USA. All right. Indian PGs are not recognized. You will have to repeat your PG if you were a PG from India, right? No, people do not get chance to settle. Reality is 0.225% people actually get opportunity out of 100. So I would not consider that as a great career opportunity. When I say age of 32, what I mean here in India, because of the competition at a PG, super PG level, and the loan which you incur by joining private medical college and paying crores of rupee, the net income only starts after 32. That's the average which we have identified amongst thousands and thousands of students. Canada, yes, you can settle after doing PG from either US or India. Okay, if you do your PG from India or US, that's true in fact for Australia, New Zealand as well, and even the Gulf countries. Only condition is you will have to give these examinations, right? Each has a clinical component and a practical examination, and you are expected to apply under something called as a specialist pathway. With that pathway, yes, you can settle, and which is why I am not discounting the PG from India. Indian PG also has global value, okay, but in certain countries, right? Great. Germany, yes, after doing a PG from Germany, you can settle in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. That's it. These three countries only recognize the degree because everything is in German language. Gulf countries, as I mentioned, if you have a PG from US and India, you can settle there. Doing a PG from Gulf is not recommended. I mean, you should have a degree from a global country, and that degree should have a global weightage. All right. Now, what are the disadvantages? The US process is too long. Sometimes students lose patience, require a lot of hard work. A lot of times, unfortunately, it's just the psychology that works. People enroll for PLAB programs. Why? Because the provider says this is a very easy exam. Okay, but he doesn't give you the reality which you will find from this agency called as BAPIO, British Association of Physicians of Indian Origin, where they have been continuously complaining about tax surcharge. In fact, recently in the current COVID crisis, the tax surcharge, which was £400 earlier, have now increased to £624. In this age also Indians pay dugna lagan in UK. Okay, visa is a problem, and there is a physician from Vishakhapatnam who has written an article in a BMJ journal highlighting the challenge and the racism, amongst the peer groups, amongst the patients, and of course, majority do the back office job. So you are not the guy at the front end in the OPD. So I would not recommend you to work hard and only to be working, uh, just as a desk job. So which is why not recommended. India, of course, is a great option. I told you I'm not discounting it. Only challenge is the competition, quota, high debt due to the PG admissions, expenditures in private medical college. So in India, the rule is very simple. I always say my students, if your rank is anything less than 16th, let's say if you are in a class of 100 students, if your rank is, let's say, 13, 14, 11, 10, you don't have to worry. But if your rank is above 16th, getting a PG seat in India will be very, very difficult, because it's a very skewed ratio. 30,000 PG seats, and we have about 1,50,000 applicant every year. All right. Canada, of course, again the quota. Some provinces expect you to learn French, because French is the only spoken language there. The entire healthcare system is public. There's nothing called a private sector and public sector. So your income is, it's good, but it's stable. I mean, it cannot be exceptionally high. Okay, but yeah, it's a good country to settle after doing PG from India or US, provided you are happy with a simple life and a secured lifestyle, basically. All right. Australia, the lifestyle is expensive, so savings are not that great. Again, the issues with quota and the licensing process is a very long process. Again, this is all actual experiences from interaction with physicians for so many years now, right? New Zealand is a very small country, very sparse demand. In fact, I always say jokingly that it's always better to be a veterinary than a human physician in New Zealand, because there are more animals compared to human beings in New Zealand. So yes, demand is lesser. I mean, Germany, it's a great option. Only challenge, you require German proficiency, and you cannot practice in India. It's not recognized by Medical Council of India. All right, because the entire teaching happens in German language. Now, what are the challenges with the Gulf country? Problem is, when you want to settle in Gulf country, majority of time these are contractual jobs, and sometimes it is via agencies. So you have to be very careful while dealing with agencies. All right. So that's the only, you can say, con which I see in the German healthcare system. Otherwise, I mean, Gulf countries, it's a great option or a great career to settle after having a PG, either from India or US. All right. Now, if somebody asks me, if somebody asks me what is the, let's say, similarities between these examinations, so I would always say that each of these exam has a theory component and a practical component. Right. So theory component is to do with something called as patient centered learning. In fact, the Indian next exam is also moving towards the global standards, that your concepts needs to be strong more than just the theory. So what we do on our platform is try teaching you, keeping in mind patient. As long as you are understanding the conceptual knowledge of dealing anatomy clinically for surgeries, dealing patho, physio, pharmac with a medicine case, and the correlation between subjects and organ system, you can crack any of these exams. Doesn't matter at which stage of your career it comes. But conceptual knowledge, patient-centered knowledge is quintessential, and that is what we focus on our platform. In fact, I will be happy to invite you all on a guest session happening on this Saturday by our kind of dean academics, you can say, Dr. Philip Tisdal. He is the brain behind the patient-centered learning. And I mean, I always, whenever students attend this session, they are just, in a different state of awe, just understanding the concept and learning his depth of knowledge, and how from the molecular level he takes you to the clinical level. That's just fun to watch him. So I would invite all of you to attend this session by Dr. Philip, happening on this Saturday. All right, great. So now that I have given you a comparison, let me also introduce you to the American healthcare system. All right, 22.7% of licensed physicians in the US are international medical graduates. The number of IMGs practicing has grown by about 28,000. 98% of IM. Now, what is IMG? Okay, IMG is International Medical Graduate. So when all of you apply for a PG in US, you guys are termed as IMGs, or International Medical Graduates. Clear? Great. So before we move further, as I told you, I will try to wake you up very regularly, time and again, just to ensure that you have a complete clarity of the discussion. It is going to be this, as we take this forward. All right, great. So a very simple question: what, according to you, seems to be the tuition fee to do PG in US? Okay, mind you, this is a question per year fees, not the total fees. Per year, what do you think is the fees to do PG? Is it zero? Is it 50 lakhs? Is it 35 lakhs? Or it's 1 crore? A quick assessment is what I want, since I believe that you have heard about USMLE, which is why you are attending the session today. So I am assuming 100% of you know or have heard about USMLE in past. So obviously, just a question out of curiosity, quick, poll which I want to do is, what is the tuition fee, guys? Quickly revert. We are around. So thank you for your response. And as we can see, out of 100 students, 44 feel the answer is zero. 11% say it is 50 lakhs. 33% feel it is 35 lakhs. So maybe a 3-year course will be about 1 crore. And 11% say 1 crore. All right. So my understanding is that 66% of you felt answer is 50 lakhs, 35 lakhs, 1 crore. All right. So let me announce. I am going to make a lot of announcements today. Majority is correct. 44% answer is correct. There is no tuition fee to do post graduation. All right. So while all of you have heard about USMLE, unfortunately we are not aware why American system is so popular among Indian students. Doing a PG in US is as good as doing a job. You are on a work visa. You get paid salary while you are doing PG. All right, this makes the US system extremely positive for international medical graduates. There is no financial burden whatsoever. In fact, you earn money. Right now, to understand this much in detail, I would request you to download handout which is attached to your panel. So all of you have 3 handouts which you can download about the USMLE brochure, comparison, and the high yield review. So the MOOCs USMLE brochure, I would request all of you to download. Right, I am also trying to open it on my screen. Great. The reason to open this handout is to re-emphasize what I mentioned. Doing a PG is like doing a job, and hence you require to have a complete profile. Okay. So unlike India, where the exams only determine your admissions, in US, your admissions are determined by your college performance, your USMLE marks, your CV or job profile, and the interview, right? So all four factors are equally important. So, I hear a lot of times, especially from students who have never tried preparing for USMLE, but I've heard somewhere rumors, hearsay, so and so senior of mine got 260 but did not get admission. So and so was a topper in my medical college but did not get admission. Reason is simple. If you feel it is like the Indian system that only your NEET ranks determines everything, no, it is not. In US, it's the overall profile. So the person who might have got great scores in USMLE might not have the college, CV, and other factors to balance it out, right? So it's all about balancing and having a rounded profile, because you are applying for a job worth, almost 55,000 US dollars. That's a lot of money, all right? 62% are primary care physicians in the US. The share of female IMGs is on the rise. In fact, just so that you are aware, even in the session today, we have more than 50% female, students who are attending the session. So, good news for everyone that yes, the share of female IMGs is on rise in the American healthcare system. About 1 in 3 IMGs call the sweet sunny south their practice home. So basically, majority of IMGs work in either Texas, Florida, South states, or in the Northeast, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia. In fact, that's my you might have heard a lot of news currently that how IMGs are working hard and are part of the current war against Corona, and how the Indian IMGs are getting appreciated on a daily basis on the hard work which they put. I am in touch with a lot of my own alumni who have been working day in day out in this journey, and speaking to them, it's just exceptional in terms of the contributions which Indians put in the American healthcare system. 33% of IMGs work in a hospital setting. That's a big number. A lot of times there is a question, what do I do after completing my PG from America? Well, you start doing a job in a hospital. Other 30% start their own polyclinics. They become part of the polyclinic. Okay, they join hands with the colleagues and open polyclinics. Let's say an ENT, Ophthal, a dermat, all coming together and starting a polyclinic. Solo or a two-doctor practice is the next 20% people, and the rest 10% work either in universities or managed care like pediatric care, geriatric care, those kind of places. All right, great. So why again an advantage for Indians? 27% of IMGs are from India. Okay, that's fairly large number, followed by people working in the American healthcare system are from Philippines, Pakistan, Syria, Nigeria, China, Lebanon, the UK, and Germany. Right. So this is a fairly big number out of almost thousands and thousands of IMGs working in the American healthcare system. Great, sounds great. So now let's move ahead and again understand few basic comparisons. A lot of times, we are getting confused with terminologies. So what is an undergrad degree in India? MBBS. In US, it is MD. Okay. This is nothing to do with the PG Indian degree called as MD. Okay. In India, the medicine side PG is MD, surgical side is MS. This MD is nothing to do with this MD. So a lot of times students get confused when you start checking MD fees. You find it's in crores, 2 crores, 3 crores. That's because that's their undergrad program. Undergraduation in America is expensive, but not PG. PG is free, you don't pay any fees. Okay, PG is called as residency. Super PG, after MD, you want to do DM, cardiology, neurology, nephrology, or after surgery, you want to do plastic surgery, cardiothoracic surgery, it's MCH. Those are called as fellowship program. Both in residency and fellowship, you don't pay tuition fees. All right. Let's talk about the attempts. Multiple attempts for NEET in case of India. In US, there is only one attempt if you pass in the 7 years. Admission ratio for PG, when 10 students apply, one gets a seat in India. In US, I already said it is 2:1. In fact, this is increased now. When 10 students apply, 6 are getting. I'm going to show that data in a while. Okay, how out of 10, 6 are getting admission. Choice of specialty, it is based on the NEET rank, which will now shortly get replaced by the next examination. In American healthcare system, you don't have to decide impromptu. Like in India, all decisions have to be made in the counseling round, and it is impromptu. In US, before even you decide to apply to hospitals, you have to freeze a particular specialization and build your entire CV or job profile for that specialization, right? So the admissions are based accordingly. You need to prove your worth for one particular specialization, and that's how you get the admission. Right? Clear? Salary stipend in the Indian system, it is about 30-40,000 per month. In the US, it is 3 to 4 lakhs, per month. All right. Great. So again, any questions, feel free to stop and clarify. Okay. So again, as I am now going to talk about the licensing process in US, a quick question to each one of you. What is your target specialization? Like what specialization you are actually looking to practice as? Medicine, surgeon, radiology. Guys, please type in on your chat box because I want to understand what exactly is the specialization which is there in your mind, right? So request if you guys can type in and confirm. Okay, surgery. All right, I got one response. Medicine or surgery. All right. See, that's what pediatrics, emergency medicine. I see that. See, when somebody says medicine or surgery, it's a very, I would say at a specialization level, it's like everything. You cannot have everything in life. You have to be very specific because these are two broad fields. Okay, in American healthcare system, as you proceed ahead based on the marks and the profile which you will build, you shall realize that you need to be very specific. It's not like India that okay, whatever is available offer. Okay, you need to have an inclination, and in the next few slides I shall show you in terms of your marks required per specialization, and also at the end we will also discuss about how many seats available in each specialization. So there are multiple factors involved on the basis of which you make decisions. All right, great. So I have a lot of responses now so that I also know people are awake. The reason to ask is very simple. Please understand, for every specialization, the length of program varies. It can be minimum 3 years, maximum 5 years, and certain specialization come at a PG level, some comes at the undergrad level. So there are a lot of differences compared to the Indian system. For example, neurology is a super PG in US. Fellowships, sorry, in India. Okay, it is kind of a DM in neurology is what you do, but in US you do as a residency program, so it's direct residencies you do in neurology. All right, so there are a lot of such variations, so you need to understand depending on the specialization. Now, reason for me to discuss this slide is because this gives you a overall macro picture. What are the basic 4 steps required for you to do in order to achieve your dream? Let's say to become a radiologist or a cardiologist or a nephrologist. So the first step is where you all are right now, where you need to do the hard work. The entire hard work is done in the stage one. Okay. What is the target of stage one? I need to be getting something called as ECFMG certification. What is ECFMG? ECFMG is Education Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates. This is the body which certifies that your degree in any international country is equal to the American undergrad degree, that is MD. And how do you prove that? By submitting your past scores of US, MBBS, and your USMLE step 1, step 2 CK, step 2 CS, all the 3 examinations. All right, these are very essentials, my friends. These are highly important. All right, great. So now understand this. Your degree step 1 CKCS is what is required for initial admission of for PG. One more thing which is important for your admissions, which I mentioned earlier, is the fact that you have to do a job. And second thing I mentioned is that you need to decide on specialization. So one more thing which you have to do in your internship year, along with ECFMG certification, is something called as clinical rotation. You have to work in American job market, or what you call as American hospitals, okay, as a intern. The way you are working in Indian hospitals, right? Internship, what you do, that way you have to work for about 8 to 12 weeks, meaning 2 to 3 months. Why is it required? Because if I am interested to become a radiologist or a pediatrician, I will work in pediatric department of my interest in an American hospital. A, it's a requirement. B, when I work there, I get letter of recommendation from American doctors. Now these LORs are going to help me get the admissions. These letters are very important because I told you it's a job. Okay. So stage one is where I do all the hard work, which is my 5 to 6 years of my life, initial years of my life, and a total investment of 20 lakhs Indian rupees. Okay. Again, there are some companies unfortunately giving you very wrong figures. The minimum investment required for USMLE process is 20 lakhs. Anybody quoting you less than that either have never processed a student or is trying to fool you. Okay. Because I have personally been through the journey of stage 1 to stage 4 for thousands and thousands of students, so I'm talking about experience of last 10 to 15 years now. All right, great. So now once you do the entire hard work at the first level, all right, Dr. Dilip Pawar, I don't know where you get this kind of misinformation. Okay, somebody is trying to fool you. When somebody, if you are saying that there are some colleges which do not require entrance exam, somebody is trying to take you for a ride. Please do not believe such rumors. Again, I am repeating, this is not India. When it comes to a quota system or an exemption in exams or a way to give a easier exam and all those things come when you pay tuition fee. But in American system, there is no tuition fee. In fact, the government is paying you fees. All right. So you do not get, as an international medical graduates, there is no exceptions whatsoever. This is the only pathway. Anybody trying to give you any other information is trying to take you for a ride. Again, I am repeating, there are people here just to make money. We don't do that. We are career planners. So we are going to give you an advice which is practical and possible. Okay. So which is why, I would advise you to, think correct. There is no jugaad here. Indians, unfortunately, are very much looking for innovation and jugaad and a shortcut. No shortcut whatsoever in this process. All right, great. So once you are willing to put this much of years of time and the hard work to clear these exams and investment of 20 lakhs, your returns are there, 100% assured returns. Your return starts from your stage 2. When you do your PG is for a period of 3 to 5 years. All right. Now, the PG program is minimum 3, maximum 5 years, depending on the specialization which you opt for. And per year that you do PG, your minimum salary is 50 to 55,000 US dollars. So every year you earn about 35 to 40 lakhs Indian rupees. So somebody does a 3 year of internal medicine, gets 1 CR as a salary. Somebody does 5 years surgery, gets 1.5 CR as a salary. All right. Number of years do not matter. Again, some people spread rumor, oh, US is a long procedure. Well, how does it matter? The same surgery seat, if I have to buy in India in a private college, I will have to pay 2 crore rupees. Instead, I am earning that. I am on a work visa. But unfortunately, people are misguided. So I request all of you to understand the process accordingly. All right. Great. So now once you are completing your 3 years of PG, you appear for the final exam called as the board examination. Once you pass this board examination, you have 3 career choices to look forward for, right? Once you pass the final exam, just like in India, you have final exam to be cleared, all right? Once you clear the final examination, you can have 3 career choices. One choice, I can come back and work in India. My degree is recognized in both government and private sector. I don't have to appear for any extra examination. Second career choice, I give the step 3 and I get a license to work in the American system itself. Okay, so I start working or doing a job in the US healthcare system. And the third career option is that I study further. So let's say I do after medicine, I become a cardiologist, gastroenterologist, and oncologist. These are fellowship programs. In residency, I earn about 35 lakhs Indian rupees. In fellowship, the income is about 55 lakhs. So if I do cardiology, it's a 3-year program, cardiovascular disease fellowship, I am earning 1.5 crore rupees. So if you see the overall scenario in the US system, your hard work is for 6 years, the returns are in next 6 years, but the returns are 10 times the Indian returns, all right? So this is very, very important. The reason why Indian parents especially are more and more inclined, because of course people are worried about the average age and the society and stuff. So somebody who does MBBS in India, PG in India, super PG in India, average age at which is settled, I just mentioned earlier, is 32. But what we have found, that somebody who does MBBS from anywhere, maybe India, Russia, China, doesn't matter. But if he starts doing PG from US, the average age at which he is on a work visa is 27 years. So you are kind of saving 5 years of your life. I hope you are able to understand this. That's a very big, difference in terms of the career opportunity, and which is why more and more Indians are considering this option. All right, great. So now I am expecting, if there are any specific questions on this slide, feel free to ask. All right, at any point of time you have question, I'll be able to answer. All right, Sadaf is asking about clinical rotations. Sadaf, you'll have to hold for a while. I will be explaining you in a while. All right, anything on this particular slide, about the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, each is very important. First, to establish that your undergrad degree is equal to the US degree. Second, to do a PG. Third, to get a license and work in America. And fourth is to do the super PG. All right, irrespective of the specialization, this is common. this is again a new announcement which I am making. I told you I am in this session. I am going to make a lot of announcement. I just hope majority of you are aware, but those who are not, please don't get shock of your life. Because sometimes in my sessions, many get shock of their life. So please don't do that. Now, this opportunity for free PG is not for every medical college student. Guys, please understand this. Doing a free PG is not an opportunity which every medical college student has. So please understand this. If you wish to appear for the USMLE examination and have a license to work in the US, you need to ensure that you are studying in a medical college which is approved by World Directory and certified by ECFMG. This is a very important criteria. Guys, please understand this. This is very, very important. Why am I saying that? Because unfortunately in India, out of 500 medical colleges, students from only 350 medical colleges can write the USMLE examination. All right. So I will just show you how to check out. So just go on this website called as World Directory of Medical Schools. Once you go on the World Directory, you have to search. And when you click here, you will be able to find the university. Okay, so somebody is asking, I already have a question from Durgesh. He wants to know about his college, Index Medical College in Indore. Let's see, college is listed in this platform, no problem. Is it approved by ECFMG? Yes, it is approved. So my friend, you can definitely write the USMLE, no problem whatsoever. All right. So this is how you check for every medical college. Right in MP, Maharashtra, in fact, across India, there are so many colleges which are not eligible or approved by ECFMG. So please, this dream of USMLE is not for everyone. If you are interested to prepare for USMLE, ensure that you are checking whether you are eligible or not, or you are studying in a medical college which has this eligibility. Right? Okay, I have a question from Shashi Rupa. Can a person get residency without step 3, passing only step 1 and 2? Absolutely. You asked this question a little late, but yeah, let me clarify. As I mentioned here, step 1 and 2 CK are the primary requirements. Step 3 is an optional requirement. Very few programs ask for step 3, that also only for the visa purpose. Otherwise, only basis of step 1 and step 2. Step 2 has two parts, 2 CK and 2 CS, all right, on the basis of which you get admissions. So usually the focus area is very clear. In order to get admission for PG, I need to be worried about step 1, step 2 CK, CS, which is a practical exam, and step 3, which is a license examination. All right. Out of which step 1 is an online exam, step 2 CK is an online exam, step 3 is an online. Step 1 can be given in India, CK can be given in India, CS in US, step 3 in US. All right. What is the portion of step 1 and why it is different than the NEET or the next PG? The reason is NEET is all 19 subjects together, USMLE is divided. Step 1 has only first 2 years of MBBS portion, ANAT, biochem, physio, patho, pharma, immuno, microbio, medical genetics. But using those knowledge, you have to solve patient cases. This is very interesting. This is exactly what the Indian next exam is going to move towards. All right. What is not there in NEET PG and what is there in next is the difference, that importance of the step 1 exam and the patient centered approach. All right. Step 2 CK is all your final year subjects: medicine, OBGY, surgery, pediatrics, pharmacology from the clinical point of view is what is expected. All right. Both are MCQ examinations. In case of step 1, there are about 280 MCQs, 7 blocks of 40 questions. In case of step 2 CK, 318 MCQs, 8 blocks of 38 questions. Now, what do I mean by a block examination? Okay, What happens in this block per block exam? In a block of 1 hour, you have to attempt 40 questions. Okay, so within that 1 hour time, you attempt question number 1, question number 2, go to 38, come back to 25, doesn't matter. But once your 1 hour time gets over, you cannot come back to the previous block. And which is why the step 1 examination is, please also understand the scoring system. Unlike Indian exams, USMLE is a scale based exam. Everybody gets minimum 140, maximum 280. That's the range. It's not like one right answer giving you 1 point, in which passing is 194, but a good score is 240. That's your target. If anybody attempts the exam and anybody gets anything above 194, your scores are locked for 7 years. You cannot improve. The target score for step 2 CK is 240. Step 3 is 240. All right. Step 1 was also 240, but the big change which has been announced in the month of February, that from 2022 January, this exam will become pass and a fail. Now, how does that impact the overall scenario? Hardly any impact. Only difference is currently 80% of people were passing step 1. We are expecting the pass rates might go down, and the minimum benchmark score required was 194. This might increase. All right. So you need to prepare equally hard for step 1, no problem. However, there is an importance of step 2 CK examination. There is importance of passing the step 2 CS practical exam in the first attempt. All right. All of these also play a role in your admission. When you talk about step 2 CS, it's a practical examination. All right. I will just come to step 2 CS in a while. Before that, we will discuss step 3, because step 3 is also an online exam. Step 3 is to do with patient management. It's also an MCQ based exam. First block, it's a 2-day exam. Day 1, MCQs for 7 blocks. Day 2, first half MCQ. Second half, on a computer, they give you 13 to 14 cases. And you keep on giving the entire treatment management plan. And they will keep on showing you the condition of patient after 2 hours, 2 days on the simulation basis. Till the end of simulation, your patient should survive or patient dies. Depending on how many patients you're able to survive, that's how you get scored. Okay. So passing here is 196. All right. So step 1 CK and step 3 are online exam. These are long exams, so you need to actually develop the stamina to sit for these examinations also in front of the computer. 8 hours, 9 hours. How do you manage time? How do you manage breaks? And balance your metabolism during this 9 hours. So it's all about a lot of practice what our students do on our platform. All right. Yeah, so coming back to the step 2 CS exam, for that I will take you to the USMLE website so that you can, after this session, also see a lot of videos there. The website is usmle.org. Right. So here, if you are able to see this, you click on the step 2 CS videos. You will realize that this is a practical exam, all right, where you are acting as a physician for a day, and your job as a physician is to interact with 12 patients, and for every patient you get 25 minutes of interaction time. Okay, before you enter this clinic kind of a setup, there will be a doorway information where the chief complaint of the patient will be mentioned. Your job will be to do 4 things. You do the physical examination, take down the patient history. Now, based on these 2 factors, generate a differential diagnosis, then come outside the clinic and type a patient note. All 4 things you have to do for all the 12 patients, all right? Each patient 25 minutes. Now, these patients are actors. They act to a particular disease. They are theater actors, and they also are given training to mark you pass or a fail on 3 factors. To the book, they will follow the protocol in terms of what was their communication and interpersonal skills, your English proficiency, and your integrated clinical encounter. Meaning, what kind of questions do you ask during history taking? whether you wear your gloves, wash your hands, what kind of hygienes you manage, how do you use your biomedical instrumentation, how do you counsel an angry patient. So all your verbal and non-verbal skills of communication are being tested here. Importance here is to pass in first attempt on all the three factors for all the 12 cases. That's when you pass the examination. So step 2 CS is all about pass and a fail. Great. So now with this clarity of exams, let's talk about what is this 240 benchmark. Okay. The 240 benchmark is important for you to realize that our students are being marked to a particular benchmark because any specialization you go and consider yourself for. Okay. Tomorrow, if you decide to kind of start hunting for a residency program, you will realize if I have a 240 score, I am eligible for psychiatry, neuro, pediatrics, anesthesio, pathology, general surgery, opthal, dermat, plastic surgery. If you see at this marks, majority of specialization cutoff scores you are meeting. Okay. Now, the big important thing to understand is a lot of times I know of students, okay, just like Indian thing, let me try on my own and let's see what happens. And the worst part is failing is of course not a recommendation thing, because each exam costs you about $1,100, but just passing or falling into this 190 till 210 kind of a gap is not what is recommended, because anybody who gets into this kind of a valley, the USMLE dreams are over. Okay, because at this score you do not get admission into any specialization. Again, if you attempt the exam, if you pass, the scores are locked for 7 years. You cannot take a chance, and hence you need to focus to ensure your step 1 CK scores are going to be 240. All right, and that's how you work hard towards the examination. Of course, we have this amazing software which I will show you, which helps you in this process. Now, let's quickly understand why to prepare early in your med school and what is the time required in the procedure. So typically what you do in your med school is prepare and appear for step 1 in third year, CK, CS, and rotation in internship year. And once you have your degree and you are ECFMG certified, you need to also build your CV. So all of these things typically take 5 to 6 years if you do parallel to med school. If somebody is a graduate and now planning, step 1 itself takes 1 year, step 2 CK, CS takes 1 year. So it's almost a 2 years extra after graduation or after internship. Once you do that and you have everything, you apply in the month of September online on a portal called as IRAS. November to January, you go for your job interviews. February is when you submit your preference in terms of your chances. March is when the results are out, and July onwards, your PG starts. You are on a work visa, you start doing a job. So, as you can see, even after graduation, it's a 1 year of a procedure minimum, provided you start early. That's why I said it's a long procedure. It's to do with working hard, but the returns are fairly good, so it is worth the efforts. Okay, again, at any point of time you guys have questions, feel free to budge in and ask questions. All right, great. So now the process is long, it's expensive, but why do you think more and more international students are preparing for USMLE? Why will you be in demand after your PG in USA? Simply because it's not about the current crisis, but overall US was almost expecting a huge physician shortfall. They require minimum 1,21,000 physicians at a PG level. What happens in India, even after introduction of the next exam, you can still start working just after MBBS. Okay, but this doesn't happen in US. In US, if you want to practice, PG is compulsory. It's not that I do my undergrad in US in MD and I do USMLE and I can start working. No, I cannot. I have to compulsorily do PG, and which is why there is a huge shortage. Okay, and hence it is important that you take an opportunity, because again, numbers are very simple and understandable. In US, there are more number of PG seats because they need to ensure the physician-patient ratio as per the World Health Organization guidelines. So they have more PG seats and less MBBS seats, what they call as MD. So less MBBS seats. Okay. So as of 2020, they have 34,000 PG seats, but only 18,000 MD seats. So there is a gap of about 16,000, which is an opportunity for which IMGs can try for. All right. This is the reason in India, out of 10, only one student gets admission. In US, it is 10:6. Why? Because in India, okay, PG seats are 30,000, no problem. But MBBS seats are almost 70,000. Plus last year who did not get admission, they apply. Plus last to last year who did not get admission, they apply. Plus there are a lot of eternal optimists, they've been trying for last 3-4 years, they apply. So every year 1.5 lakh students apply for this 30,000 seat. Then minus the quota and minus all the other things. For every 10 student, only one is getting the admission, right, in a clinical position. That is the biggest reason why American system is more popular, right? And more Indian students are preparing silently for USMLE. Okay, what about the income? Minimum income starts with 1.5 crores at a pediatrician, endocrine, family medicine, internal medicine. And as I move the curve, plastic surgery, orthopedics, cardio, gastro, radio, my income increases. All right, top 5 specializations. All right, this is after my graduation. All right, great. This looks exciting, but is it real? Is it possible? Let's find out what happened in 2020. 2020, how many seats were available for PG? 34,000, the largest in NRMP history. Number of non-US citizens, all of you fall into this category. Getting admission was highest since 1990. Okay, this is very important, guys. Whenever there is a change, or whenever things are change, whenever something new come up, it does happen that people try to kind of spread a lot of rumors. For example, right now there is some information which has been wrongly interpreted that USML is over because Trump has said that no immigration. All right, it's incorrect. There is a huge physician shortage. In fact, when first time Trump came into the power, everybody says USML is over. Okay, but that's not possible. They require IMGs, and this is the proof of that. Every year since last 5 years that Trump was in power, number of international students getting admission has increased. 2015, 16 50%, 17 52, 18 56, 19 58, and 2016 was highest. 6,900 students apply, 4,200 got admission. 10 students applying, 6 are getting admission. That's a big number. Okay, and this happened this year itself. So please understand this. Do not fall to false rumors. Now, how do you get admission? Again, a very important discussion. I just mentioned at the start, it's the overall profile. So your step 1 240 plus, CK 240 plus, CS pass in first attempt, clinical rotation and letter of recommendation in your own specialization. Very important. College performance. Now, if you want to become a surgeon, what kind of work you are doing with your department of surgeries, what kind of CMEs, conferences you are attending, volunteer work which you do with your community medicine department, how you are contributing to the society, extracurricular work, so beyond medicine, what all things do you like, important, research and language. All the MOOC students preparing for USMLE learn Spanish language because it is the most spoken language currently in US, and we want to ensure that it increases your probability to get selected. All right. Last but not the least, interviews. So what we do is we help you in the entire journey from day one of your med school. In fact, Many of our students start very early. They start right from first year. Now, before I move ahead, again some announcement. I told you during this session, I am going to talk about a lot of announcements. So just so that you know and have a reality check, 15,000 plus students prepare for USMLE every year. But only 1,094 are ECFMG certified. Why is it that 14,000 talented Indian students give up on their dreams? You know, is it the lack of option or information? Because many a times people try to become penny wise pound foolish. A lot of reliance on WhatsApp telegram groups unfortunately have destroyed a lot of careers. Okay, some actually get fooled by this legacy based 70 or 80-year-old company and franchisees in Hyderabad. They offer 4 month 6 month courses, only one company content, only one company books. Every year they change the cover page and they declare it's updated. If you ask them for live lectures, they will ask for more money. No support, only login ID, password, and recorded content given. Cost estimate, they will tell you, okay, our program is only 1 to 3 lakh. Further on, the expenditure is 20 lakhs. Very difficult for them to explain you. In fact, these franchisees of Hyderabad-based companies tell you don't do anything right now. Come after graduation. Come on a student visa, and then make you waste about 50 lakh rupees. What you could have managed in 20 lakhs, they will make you waste this much money. Not recommended. You need to learn from a structured provider. Learn content which is important, real time, with a continuous support. Just to give you an example, what people considered as their best product is something which we do not even promote. Our silver option is the best product what the Hyderabad big franchisees give. They give you recorded, they give you QBank, they give you study material, they give you all of these things. We in fact, or our student in fact, enjoy the platinum version of our program, where our program is live. Faculties take live lectures. There is a study schedule support by the faculties. My team does the CV building, test taking workshops. We give access to URQ Bank. In fact, we have a money back guarantee if you are following our strategies. And if you don't pass the USMLE, we are happy to return your fees whatsoever. And the best part is our program is unlimited validity. We do not have a restriction. So that is how you can either go for a silver, gold, platinum, your choice. But unfortunately, most of the students join Hyderabad franchisee program, and then they get suffered. Just because it's a legacy, it doesn't work right. They might randomly show you, okay, one student got 260, great, but what about the 13,999 students? No answer. Okay, so please do not get awed by the false information, and try for yourself. I always say try for yourself what we are. You can log in, have your own login ID, password, experience our program. Each one of you can get your free ID, log in, give your USMLE style mock examination, check out our content, attend our live lectures. That will let you know what exactly what we offer. Our artificial intelligence based software actually lets you know what is your preparatory level. All right, this is something very important for you guys to understand. We will let you know your strength and weaknesses right at the subtopic and topic level. What was your recent activity? What is your strength, not only from discipline wise but also organ system wise? So this is a product which is made for the students, by the students, keeping in mind the high scores. We let you know your career options, what kind of career, what are the marks required. It's a continuous CV workshop, CV binding help. It is an ongoing project. All right, study material. In fact, a lot of you might be wondering. We start with basics. For example, medical terminology. Lot of you think it is obvious, we are aware. No, it is not true. Many students unfortunately do not do well in USMLE many a times because they are not aware of certain basic terminologies. So we ensure absolutely no problems with terminologies as well. So that entire revision is done just to be doubly sure, because this is a career decision and we don't want you to go wrong. All right, so that's why detailed videos, you can download notes, you can ask questions at any point of time you feel you need to refer to an article, a research article based on any point, no problem. We have our research team has locked in and identified a lot of research papers on theory what you are learning. So you can click on it, watch a research article, understand the relevance of the theory topic you are reading, and that makes things much more practical. That is the best part of our program. All right, and which is why students learn something called as patient centered learning. In fact, I will invite you all to also check out our YouTube channel called as the Moksha Coaching YouTube, where we try to solve a lot of your prominent questions, especially when it comes to USMLE. We have realized a lot of myths, information, and we try to convey that, and we try to explain the seriousness since the announcement of the next examination in India, how important it is to prepare from first year. So on this channel you will find a lot of informative videos which will guide you decide on your career plan, which will also ensure that you learn the aspects which are very important. Right, so I will recommend you to like and subscribe this channel so that all the informations very regularly are being shared with you. Right, so for example, we have questions like what are the strengths and weaknesses of Indian students. All right, we have questions like, you know how important is research, what are the salaries available, what are the competition in fellowships. Every information is there, and this is by the people who have been in the system, who have been dealing with students, thousands and thousands of students for many years. All right, so what exactly is the procedure, how important are your NBME examinations? Everything is explained to you much in detail. Are there any shortcuts for USMLE? Ideal sequence to give USMLE examinations. All right, everything in totality, your study skills. I would in fact recommend you to watch a lot of videos on this platform that can give you a complete clarity. You can also interact and understand feedback of our students, who have been preparing with us, and find out their experience as well. All right, great. So now a very, very simple last announcement. Those who want to actually experience the mock USMLE can do so by emailing us on usmle@mook16.com, or just drop a WhatsApp, and we will be happy to send you the link to join the free USMLE mock style examination. All right. So I wish you all the very best for your career, and I just hope at least it has given you a perspective to think about your career. So do that, and in your free time, ensure you log into Mook 16, give a mock USMLE, enjoy your free access, and let us know when you want to, be ready for your, challenge to appear for step one. Wish you all the very best. Stay safe, stay at home, and see you soon. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.